We know, just like President Obama, that great readers underline or take notes to help them remember important information from their nonfiction texts. So today, as great readers, we get to begin reading chapter 1 together, and we get to do this while writing down some important information or notes to help ourselves remember and understand our text even better. I'll take notes up here, but you're going to need a pencil and paper to take notes as well. So go get it. You got it? We're going to have a quiz that your notes will come in handy for. After each page, we're going to stop and ask ourselves, what important information did I just learn? Then we're going to write that information down, and we're going to go back into our reader and keep tracking the words on the next page. So let's start reading. Track as I read. Chapter 1, Trouble with the British. In 1812, James Madison had a hard choice to make. Many Americans were angry with the British. Some of them were saying the United States should declare war on Great Britain, but others disagreed. They said the United States should not go to war. Madison was President of the United States. He had to decide what to do. Should he ask the U.S. Congress to declare war, or should he try to keep the peace? Ooh, we just finished a page. It's time to ask ourselves, what important information did we just learn? So, what important decision did President Madison have to make? I see you going back in that text. Yes, Madison had to decide what to do. Did he want to ask Congress to declare war or try to keep the peace? We're going to write this down since it's important information. Got it written down? All right. Keep tracking as I read. At the time, Great Britain was already at war with France. The two countries had been fighting for years. Most of the countries in Europe were involved in the war. Some sided with the British, others sided with the French. The French were led by a man named Napoleon. He was a brave leader. He had beaten the British in a number of battles. Still, the British kept fighting. Good job tracking the words as I read. Now we're at the end of the page. What important thing was happening in Great Britain and France? Yes, Britain and France were at war. Make sure your notes match mine. Writing down that important information. You ready? Flip the page. Track as I read. The United States tried to stay out of this big war. At first, most Americans did not care to get involved. American traders wished to trade with both Great Britain and France, but this led to problems. When U.S. ships traded with the British, the French got upset. They did not want Americans trading with their enemies. When U.S. ships traded with the French, the British got upset for the same reason. Sometimes British ships would stop American ships to keep them from trading with the French. Sometimes French ships would stop American ships to keep them from trading with the British. The Americans had problems with both the French and the British. As time went on, the problems with the British increased. Beautiful tracking. We're at the end of a page, so what important information did we just learn? What did the Americans think about this big war at first? Let's go back and see. Ooh, I see some text evidence here. Yes, most Americans did not want to get involved in the war. Make sure your notes match mine. Wow, we just read the first half of the chapter and took notes together. Now it's your turn to read the rest of chapter 1. Making sure we're tracking the words as we read them and stopping at the end of each page to ask ourselves, what important information did I just learn? Once we go back to our text and see what that important information was, you're going to write down that important information in your notes just like you've been doing. After you read, you're going to have a quiz on what you just learned, and you're going to use those notes to be super successful in your quiz. Go get them, readers.